Oh, man, look at us. We're back again, guys. They said it couldn't be done. They said it wouldn't be done. They probably said it shouldn't be done, but here we are.
That's the key right there.
Here we are back in the studio again for another run. I can't believe it, man. I honestly, I thought this season was kaput. I really did. I thought that was going to be the end of it. And obviously, it's not. Here we are. Guys, before we jump into hockey, because we certainly got a pantful, that's the technical term. I got Todd over here helping me with everything. That's great. We'll get into that in a minute. We have a pantful of stuff to talk about today, and I'm super jazzed up. Look at it. This is like a totally new system. I might as well mention it now.
I like this.
Totally
nice.
new system. The studio is all remodeled. Before, obviously, we used to have like that long table, and you guys all sat there. Now we're around. I feel like Jimmy Kimmel or something. This is kind of.
I don't know. I have to go all the way over there to punch Scott.
Yeah.
So it's not as great as I'd like it to be.
Okay.
And I'm by the door.
And this is great too because it looks like we're all in like different parts of the world right now. Like
It does.
This
Yeah.
is Rich Masucci checking in from Seattle. Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually. We're all in the same room, but we have done the whole 6 foot distancing thing. And
You're not going to start calling yourself the Kraken then, are you?
No, not yet.
I gotta appreciate the setup too, because it's literally like if I put my arm out, I can't touch. If he puts his arm out, we're not
Yeah,
touching.
you can't do like the Wonder Twin power thing.
That's how you test 6 feet right there.
Is it? Is
For
that
the
the way?
people that don't know?
Two arms
Put
lengths.
your arms out. and
Really?
People's hands don't touch. That's 6 feet. That's
So
it.
see, this isn't just a hockey show; it's an educational
There
show.
you go.
That's right.
We're learning things
There
by
you
the
go.
minute, and of course, thank you to Todd and thank you to Z for having us back. Always good to be back in the studio, man. I really like that. I'm going to introduce you guys. Of course, Mr. Scott Kimball sitting over there. What's going on, brother?
How have you been?
How have I been? I've been. I don't know how to answer that quite.
You know, I just this is like just a rebirth. I think this is just
You're a phoenix.
Although I know, yeah. Yeah, I'm just rising out of the mud. You know? No, I never thought that we'd be doing a show on July 27th, but here we are.
I know it, right?
Right? So,
and isn't that the crazy thing? We're going to be potentially doing playoff shows through August and right into September.
Yeah.
sponsored by the letter P for pandemic.
Yeah, yes, it is. So, how's everything else been going? Everybody's
All right.
healthy.
You know, everybody's healthy, no problems. You know, it's just we had a longer summer is basically what it is. You know, obviously they shut down schools in March. I'm sorry. So my wife and kids have been home since then.
But you're a first responder.
Yes.
You are an EMT, right? Is that
paramedic.
Paramedic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, you've been kind of right on the.
Yeah, we didn't get any time off for it.
No, I didn't think you would.
No.
I thought of you the whole time.
Yeah.
While I
thank
sat
you.
home.
It's no, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh man, Yosh,
Yo.
back in the saddle over
Oh,
there.
yeah. I mean, I left before the COVID stuff even started happening because I was doing training at work, and then
That's right. Wow.
and then it was like I was done with training. I was like, hey, I can come back, and that was the week everything just kind of shut right down up here.
Yeah,
so.
we were like, don't hurry back because we're no longer a show.
Yeah, I messaged you. I said, so I'm gonna assume that we're not gonna be doing the show until this is
I had
kind
a
of
few
cleared
people,
up a little bit.
People asked me about that. Are you guys going to keep doing the shows? Like, on what? I mean, and in this week, everything was closed down again.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Yeah, so definitely an interesting time. Same thing with you, though. Everybody's healthy.
Yeah, no, everybody's good. Like, same thing. My wife's a teacher, too, so she was kind of, when she was done, she was done. I mean, I worked through the whole thing. I didn't get a break either. I work manufacturing, so.
Our summers of peace were ruined.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't say that. We've been kind of bouncing between shortened weeks and everything because my line of work's heavily dependent on churches and schools because I make books. So if they're not in session, they're not ordering books, and we're not doing much of anything. So
well, it's good to have you here, man.
Yeah, it's good to be
the main
back.
thing. Yes, back in the saddle, as they say. Mr. Chris Mazzotti.
Hey.
What is going on, brother?
Hey, I was here last, actually. It was just me and Scott the last episode.
That's right. I didn't even come to the last show.
And we survived.
And we were cracking jokes about how they weren't going to play in front of fans because of coronavirus. We were saying, like, Florida Panthers are used to it, but I guess they got too worse.
Now everybody's feeling like what it is in Florida.
But, so I've been off. That was spring break at the college.
Oh, yeah.
And then the college took an extra week of spring break because the pandemic was just starting.
Oh, man.
And they didn't know what to do, which I'm so thankful they did. Because if they had opened for that 1 week where all those kids had just come back from across the country and come back to school, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. because I know this thing is looking for me everywhere I go. As much as I love being here today, you have no idea how much anxiety I'm holding right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, even though we are doing everything completely safe, I got my Rangers mask.
Oh, look at this guy.
That's why you say it's looking for you, because you're wearing that Ranger mask around. That's what it is,
Well, actually, and I got to say, too, man, it's been a while, so it's good to do a show finally again with you, too. So everybody safe? Everybody good?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah? Knocking on wood or whatever this is right here? What is this? What? So, and not to go totally off track, I want to, it's like a reality show. I want to tell you my Corona tale. Funniest thing that happened with me is, if you remember, some of you guys remember this, in April, the beginning of April, my phone crapped out on me. So I had no phone access. And then like a week later, everybody's remodeling and doing all the painting and everything. We're no different there. I tried to move the cable box on my from one wall to another, crapped out on me. And I had to borrow a phone, and I called up, and I'm like, hey, are you guys coming to fix our cable? They said, we can't get out there till June 15th. So for the entire month, well, the remainder of April, which is about 3 weeks, all of June and 2 weeks in all of May and 2 weeks in June, I had no television, I had no phone, I had no nothing. The only thing I was able to do is borrow my girlfriend's phone, and if I wanted to make a phone call. So there you go, man. Sorry, I kind of lost touch with all you guys, but
I was actually kind of concerned for a little while. I was like, I enjoy my weekly like Rich Masucci rant on Facebook.
By Rich. Yeah.
And I was just like, I wonder what's going on. And then all of a sudden there was a big long post like, I just got my phone back. This sucks.
And it was built up, wasn't it? Holy crap. I just thought maybe he buried himself in his garage bar and just kind of.
That was an option, believe me. Of course, after like day 3 of doing it by myself, I was like, wow, this drinking alone is really not that much fun. Anyways, let's talk some hockey. That's what everybody's here for. We've got tons to discuss here. I'm going to say this like almost like an episode of the old Batman show. When last we left, that's really what it was. I mean, It's been so long. I feel like we got to recap it. Obviously, some of the teams that were on the top at that time, we had Boston and Tampa Bay, Washington and Philadelphia. Philadelphia was on a surge, if you guys remember that.
Yeah,
they were
going bananas. And over in the West, St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, your favorites, and Dallas. For the number 1 through 4 spots. I say your favorite to Scott, because I know if you're one of our listeners, you know us too. He hates with a capital H, the Vegas and the Golden Knights.
I hope they have a big Kraken versus the Golden Knight ice show.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Let the Kraken begin.
What if it's the Golden Knight fighting the Kraken?
That's what I meant.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
That'd be awesome.
But so let's go ahead and maybe one of you guys can jump in here and help me explain this. Obviously, the NHL. They had to go deep into the thought process and try to figure out how they were going to bring back hockey. And so we have this new playoff format, what have you. Play-in. So, one of you guys, please, give me a hand explain. Mazat.
Well, the issue was, of course, we know there was less than 10 games left for most teams. And some teams were right there. We know it was going to come down to, like, the last second. So... you go ahead and you say, well, if we got these other teams, are we just going to cut them off? That Columbus was in a playoff spot, but by percentage they weren't. Things like that. So then you're talking, you might have to kick out Columbus, who was actually in an 8th seed, for the Islanders who are behind them or whatnot. So I think that this idea that they came up with was really good.
Yeah.
Now, the other teams at the top, well, they shouldn't have to play in because they were in, right? Nobody disputes
Yeah, there was
that.
no doubt on those teams.
So they could just seat those teams as they were. But then those teams were like, hey, if we're sitting around and these other guys are playing for a week, we're going to get schooled in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came up more with this round-robin style, which isn't really fair to, say, Boston, I would say. But to the other teams, I think it's pretty fair. And Boston's so good, I really don't think it will end up affecting them. But
Chris, it was the teams that were in the top seeds that wanted that play-in round.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so they wanted to do that. So
they wanted the round robin, right? Because they wanted to be able to compete and get into it. So, that's what they're going to do. Those games are going to be interesting because they're going to have regular season rules.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to see 3-on-3. We're going to see shootouts determining the seeding.
Right.
And then if there's any ties, it's going to go to playoff or the percentage.
Right.
Yeah.
Win percentage on the season.
Yo, let me ask you: Are you a fan of the setup right now?
I am, and actually, going through and reading some threads I was reading, there was really only one team that wasn't exactly happy with how it worked out, and that was Carolina.
Yeah.
Because they're playing the Rangers in the play-in round, and because the Rangers schooled them,
But
all season and really regularly since like 2000.
right. But of course,
Seven.
you guys are happy about that because now the Rangers are definitely.
I'm
you know what?
I'm not really. I mean,
You're not a
playing
fan?
Carolina isn't a gimme. Like
No,
he's
nothing,
saying.
and really nothing's a gimme for any of the teams at
No.
this point
Yeah,
because
you're right.
everybody's healthy now. Minus the players that may have gotten hurt during the training camps.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, it's kind of a roll of the dice
And the
for
thing
any
is,
team.
at this point, you can take the regular season and throw it out the window.
Right.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
This is like
I
the
don't
whole
care
new
that
season right now.
I don't care that, like, say the Rangers beat Carolina 5 out of 6 games or whatever it was they played. It means absolutely nothing because nobody's played in 4 months.
Right.
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 Any meaningful games, anyways.
Right.
So
I was just saying, like when we left, Philly was surging, and that's
Right.
been one of the questions that everybody's
Sure.
asking right now. It's been 3 months, right?
Yeah.
well, March 12th was the last game.
Yeah, so almost 3 months. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot happens in that time.
Right.
That's time to completely cool off and fall right back to the
Right.
bottom. But how about you? Are you a fan of this or?
for 99% of it, yeah, I think it's a good setup. I mean, Montreal is going to get smoked. I think we all know that,
Yeah.
right, Rich? But anyways,
Good.
there's only 2 complaints I have, and it's minor. But the first off is with the play-in round, not the round robin, but the play-in round. The losers of those rounds get a shot at the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Right.
That's lame. I'm sorry. So if let's say I just said Montreal is going to get smoked, let's say a miracle happens and they beat the Penguins. The Penguins now have a shot at getting the number 1 overall pick. That's not, that's a little ridiculous, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. So I don't understand what the thinking was behind that. Yeah.
There's been worse things, right?
Yeah, I didn't think you were just going to jump in and say, I totally agree with you. You know?
1989 all over again.
Hey,
Pretty much.
But same thing. And
So-
Edmonton is the same way.
Edmonton, any of those, higher seeds in the playing round,
Yeah.
because you got to figure there's going to be upsets somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
going to be. So the only other complaint I got, and there's really no easy way around this one, just speaking from a fan of the bottom 7 teams that didn't make it, I'll use the LA Kings as an example. They last played March 12th. They may not play again until December or January.
Oh.
So there was no provision anywheres to say, somehow we got to get these guys some ice time, at least get them on the ice. So they've said they're working on it, so that hopefully they'll be able to maybe do an early training camp or early prospects camps and all that to kind of accommodate for the fact that they're not doing anything.
Right.
For
So-
like 9 months.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I mean, you take a team that they said that this could go all the way into October.
Yeah.
So take a team that goes deep into the playoffs. They're playing into September or October, starting right back up again in December. God forbid, I hope they don't go to late or early January. Okay? Which is fine and good. They had 3 months off, get the batteries recharged. Teams that have been out of this since March, you want to talk about rust?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's been enough WD-40 in the world to get them going, okay? So, and like I said, it's all semantics. I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll work something out, but
I'm actually kind of curious how they're going to convince everybody to come back right after the playoffs and jump back into it. Is that going to be a full season?
yes.
Go-
Yes, because what they're going to do is I love this, they're going to eliminate those weeks off that each
Yeah.
team was getting. That's done.
The bye weeks.
There's no more All-Star
Just
games.
for the next season.
Just for next
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Until they get the schedule back.
Back to where they want it.
But even though there are teams and there are markets that actually want to go to the modified schedule where they start in end of November into December, because it's teams that are competing against like the NFL. So to them, it's advantageous to be able to start, away from the NFL a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see that happen because I don't think a majority of the league is going to go for it, to
No.
be perfectly honest with you. But so there's no more All-Star game for this coming season. The bye weeks are eliminated, and the nice thing too is that the NHL and the NHLPA really worked together on this to get this done. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't normally like to give all
They really
that.
showed that, like, when the NHL especially showed that when they want to get something done, they can.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They can get it done when they want to.
I mean,
other times they say, we'll just take off the fall and start in January.
Yeah.
Everybody drags their feet a little bit.
Here, everybody put an idea in a hat and we'll pick one, you know? But, I mean, it was really nice to see that they were actually able to hammer out a 4-year extension for the CBA out of all this.
Yeah.
Potentially 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because you got the 2 remaining years that are left right now, and then the 4 on top of that. So,
And
what
they
a
have
job.
another one at the end they can extend.
There's each the Players Association and the league have a kicker option where they can enter kick in one of the. Not all of the options, but some of them. It's of course, they'd have to complicate something, right?
Of course.
Couldn't keep something simple.
It wouldn't be the National Hockey League.
No. But, overall, though, kudos to the league, kudos to the Players Association. They're going to get the full season in for next season, and it's just so nice to see.
And they're going to go to the Olympics.
That was the key to getting that was the key. That really was. Mm-hmm. Although, I'll be curious to see, just playing devil's advocate, 2022 is in Beijing, China. Mm-hmm. If, knock on wood, God forbid, I hope everything is all over with by then.
I know where you're going with this already.
Oh my goodness! If there's a respike or whatever, how's that going to affect anything?
Right?
Are they going to cancel the Olympics, and what's that going to do? But
I would almost.
I don't know.
You have to.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
This whole thing that they're doing, the NHL, is based around how the Olympics kind of does things.
Yeah.
We're putting everybody in a bubble like the Olympics.
Right.
Where you have the Olympic Village with the athletes and that they don't have to intermingle with regular people and everything. So that's where they get this whole idea. So I don't know.
Yeah,
let's hope it never gets there.
Yeah. And that's 2 years down the road, so but I'm just, kind of thinking ahead kind of thing. And I'm not even opposed to players going to the Olympics. I'm not.
I love it.
I just, as a fan, I get very nervous with that because you don't want to see, say, Artemi Panarin goes to play for Russia in 2022. The Rangers are on a roll. They're surging, ready to take the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Uh-oh. Artemi Panarin's now getting taken off on a stretcher. Uh-oh. He was our top player. Now what?
Right.
So there's always that risk involved. Same thing with the World Cup of hockey. Yeah. I like the World Cup, too. And I like it.
You don't even need to get injured. Look at the year that Henrik won the gold.
Yeah.
He came back. He was dead.
You're shot.
He was dead tired. I think he didn't win a game for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, but it also works to teams' advantages. Like, take a look at 2014. The Kings were floundering going into the Olympic break. They got those 2 weeks off, and all of a sudden they started surging. It was kind of a rest, reset, recharge the battery. So, I mean, it works both ways. But overall, again, I'm not opposed to it. I just kind of in that back of my head thinking worst case scenario. Oh, please. Oh, please, No. But
so let me do this because obviously we're on a little bit of a shorter time today. We got to make way for I think Z's coming up right after this. That's
our main man Z.
I know. Actually, I got to give kudos before we go any further with this. Oh my God! Wait before I know. Oh my God! It's one of our pictures. I remember this. Total what do they call it? OCD moment. But you guys have done wonderful things down here, man. Programming going on, all kinds of good stuff happening. So outstanding. If for anybody out there that maybe follows our show normally and doesn't necessarily tune into a lot of the other Disruption Network programming, do so. It's phenomenal. Everything's like really, really coming together nicely down here.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things we really should do is we're going to talk about the matchups, but let's go ahead and talk about who was left out real quick. I know you already made mention to the Kings.
All right. Shockers.
So from the East, obviously, we had Buffalo, New Jersey, Ottawa, and Detroit. We all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
and in the West, Anaheim, the Kings, as you said, and, of course, San Jose. San Jose, the team that everybody thought was cup bound 2 years ago. And
how's that Erik Karlsson extension looking right about now? How does trading all those picks to get him look right about now?
That window just slammed shut.
Woo!
in a big old way. But
they ran down to the basement.
oh God,
Yeah, but there was a log jam. That was the problem at the bottom.
yeah, that's very true. I don't know what's going to happen with there, but definitely we'll talk about that another show. For right now, let's look at the teams that are in this round. So, of course, we mentioned that Boston, Tampa Bay, Washington, and Philadelphia, they get that bye. But right now, the number 5 is Pittsburgh, followed by the Hurricanes, the Islanders, the Maple Leafs, the Blue Jackets, the Panthers, the Rangers, and, of course, the Canadians, filling out the I guess what would be the 5 through 12 spots on that side. And then in the West, the 4 top seeds over there were St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas, followed by at the number 5 seed over there, Edmonton, the Predators, the Canucks, Flames, Jets, Minnesota Stars, the Coyotes, and of course the Blackhawks. So there's your 5 through 12 over there. Let's talk about these matchups. I mean, we probably should mention even before we go into that, a lot of injuries. Those guys that were hurt during the regular season.
It was a magic wand.
Yeah, they did just wave the wand over it, and now everybody's coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, you like what you said before. Whole new season doesn't even really matter right now. I was just checking the injury list, and I guess there's some big ones that are still out there. Tuukka Rask, obviously goaltender for Boston, broke the finger on his glove hand the other day. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that. And I guess Dougie,
that's not a quick recovery though, because that's his glove hand.
Yeah, that.
I'm telling you. I mean, I know it only sounds like a broken finger. Well, you figure NHL players are firing a puck at 90 to 100 miles an hour.
Right, trying to catch
I don't care what kind of glove you got on. There's no way.
No.
You know?
That's got to be just excruciating
Exactly.
every time they catch the puck. Dougie Hamilton, I just read that he's going to miss the Rangers round, this opening round. Yeah.
He's still out.
Yep. And who else is out? Andrew Shaw, obviously he was done for the season for the Blackhawks. Radulov, he is still on IR. Carter Hart, I guess they said he's unfit to play. When they say unfit to play,
that's because as part of the agreement to return to play, they cannot disclose an injury at all.
Yeah. And I think actually now that I'm reading that, they said he is returning to practice.
Right. So he'll be back for those.
Yep. Ilya Samsonov, same thing. They said he's unfit, will not play in the postseason. So
At all.
Yeah, he's not going to make it till next season. They're saying now.
Yep. Who else we got here? Andreas Johnson for Toronto, still out with a knee injury. And then the 2 big ones, of course, that we've all been watching. Steven Stamkos. I think he's
going to play.
He's going to play. They said he's not really 100%, but he's going to be back.
Right.
And the other big one from the other day, Sidney Crosby.
Who's that?
Yeah, some dude.
I thought you said big names, Rich. What's the matter with you?
Some dude, probably some scrub. Same thing. Undisclosed. He left practice.
Yeah.
And now they're saying he's probably going to be back.
He's skating on the side.
Yeah.
So
probably going to be participating in that exhibition round against the Flyers.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, aside from that, let's break it down, man. Do you want to go east, west first? Your choice. We'll go right through it.
West.
We'll go to West.
We'll go to the West.
Let's do the West.
So that first round, Edmonton taking on Chicago.
That's more interesting than people think.
Yeah.
That is really the old guard versus the new guard.
Yep.
You know, it's hard to bet against the Blackhawks given their championship pedigree. I understand that totally. But I just have this feeling, because Mikko Koskinen was playing extremely well. Now, granted, what we just say, forget the regular season. It's out the window. Mm-hmm. But if he can pick that back up, and don't forget, Mike Smith is a very experienced playoff goaltender.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he may even get a start. Who knows? You don't know what's going through Coach Tippett's head. But you got to believe that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have got a chip on their shoulder with something to prove now. Mm. And I think this is going to go full 5, but I think it's going to be Edmonton.
Okay.
I think the Blackhawks are going to put up a heck of a fight. I do. They're going to be a proud group. They're not going to want to bow down to, McDavid or Draisaitl or any of the rest of them. But I just think in the end on this one, and let me preface this too, I think that this break actually benefits teams that are older more than anything else, more than the younger teams beyond a shadow of a doubt. But I'm sorry, there's too much talent between Draisaitl, McDavid, and what else Edmonton brings to the table. I think they get by Chicago, but I think they take all 5, or it takes all 5 games.
Yosh, are you on the McJesus train?
I'll always be on the McJesus train. I don't think Chicago's got what it takes.
No.
And actually, another player that was deemed unfit to play was Corey Crawford. So,
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's returning to practice, though, right?
Oh, is he returning
Yes,
to practice?
he's
I heard.
returning.
Last week I saw the news that
Yep.
they deemed him unfit.
Well, that
to
was
play.
the other thing with Chicago too. I mean, it was the potpourri of goaltending, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was
But if I'm right, they had to submit their 31-man roster that they're going with.
Yeah.
It was yesterday or something.
right.
Yeah. So.
But I think they can still carry 3 goaltenders because of the rules being what they are, kind of, Because I mean, what would happen if say you got Corey Crawford as your starter, Malcolm Subban's the backup,
Yep.
and then Delia.
Yep.
Colin Delia was the third guy. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens if both Crawford and Subban get hurt? Are you going to you can't pull somebody out of the crowd because there is no crowd. So what are you going to do?
The equipment trainer.
Yeah, all right.
There's no David Harris this
Yeah.
time.
So
All right. So. So we got a text. This is very weird because I'm getting texts from phones I was on. Yeah, Gus, our boy Gus, chiming in saying that Oscar Lindblom is back. He says, "I feel a good story of the year going on here."
just signed a contract extension.
Yeah, that was their 31st player.
Yep.
They read the article
excellent.
yesterday on that.
That's awesome. Gus watching the show. Gus, how are you, man? Who else we got here? The Predators going up against the Coyotes. Mazat, what do you think on that?
Well, as far as Predators go and Coyotes, this is one that's very interesting to me because I don't know if either of these teams are really going to make the playoffs the way it was shaken out. They're both trying to lose games going down the stretch.
Right.
So it's very interesting to me. I probably give the edge to Nashville, but the Coyotes shouldn't be underestimated. They got Kessel, they got Hall, Stepan, they got playoff experience there. Of course, they have no general manager right now.
Yeah.
He just walked out.
That was like today or something, wasn't
So
it?
tons of distractions.
Yeah. So I feel like that's
And Darcy Kemper's back, right?
The other thing is too, these 5-game series, you watch them in the AHL because the AHL first round's 5 games. They go quick, and the momentum shifts are much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're not. It's not game to game. It's half a period to half a period, maybe. And so, especially in a series like you just mentioned with Edmonton and Chicago, I could see Chicago stealing that very quickly.
That's why I said it's going to go 5.
I really could, because if Edmonton comes out too slow or they're not, they're feeling them out, I feel like, Seabrook or Keith.
Seabrook's not playing, though.
He's not?
No, he's
Okay.
out for the remainder of the playoffs.
But Keith will be there.
Keys will be there. Yeah.
And they have other great defensemen on that team.
Right.
So I just feel like the Chicago defense could really get in the way of Connor McJesus there. Yeah. But
I don't think
Nashville-
any team can come out and play flat right off the bat. They'll get
No.
Yeah. Nashville, I feel it has a better advantage over Arizona. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right.
Arizona does play a better system, though, with defense, especially now that Laviolette's gone out of Nashville. But I'm going to tell you something. That series is like plain yogurt versus plain yogurt. It's just, there's just no way to get excited for it.
Is there a way they could both lose?
Yeah, I know, right? If we have a double elimination.
I guarantee you,
Like in pro wrestling, a double count out or something,
This match has been ruled a draw. Let's talk about the Canucks series against the Stars.
The Wild, right?
No, they're playing Stars.
No, Stars are the top 4.
Yeah,
No, man.
it's Canucks Wild.
Oh, I do have it. Yeah, I got it right. So let's talk about it.
Well, hey, the Stars were in Minnesota at one time. So.
That's true. That's true.
So there you go. See?
So let's talk about it. What do you see on that going on?
I think Vancouver smokes them.
Really? Okay.
I think so. I think that Vancouver has way too much up front for them, and they get Markstrom back now.
Yeah.
Markstrom was playing phenomenal. I mean, again, like I said, regular season aside, but Jacob Markstrom has proven that he's a number 1 goaltender. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, Vancouver is just too loaded for him. And I think they're one of those teams, and it's a gut feeling. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no science behind this. Mm-hmm. I just have a feeling they're a team that's going to come out flying. I don't know why. I just do.
Are you on time? You're on top of these Canucks here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Vancouver in that series too.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me about Vancouver is them staying healthy, because Vancouver is continuously plagued by the injury bug. So that'd be just one thing to watch is they're making sure the players stay uninjured. But I would night and day I'd take Vancouver in that series.
Was that?
I have to go with Vancouver. I want to see Vancouver. I think they have the talent. But, again, Minnesota, I've been watching some of Minnesota stuff online. So they've been showing some of their practices and things. Eric Stahl's ready to go. You know, those guys, that's a team of veteran guys. They're not going to take this chance lightly. Like, that's the other thing. Like, these guys wanted to be there. They're going to not see their family for the next, 60 days, 45 days at least.
Yeah, that's the interesting
thing.
You know,
so they're in to play. They're in to win. And I don't count, Minnesota, Dubnyk.
Yeah,
he could steal a game too. Markstrom's great. I mean, Markstrom's even the number one goalie in Sweden now.
Yeah.
He's surpassed Lundqvist. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have to stand on his head. He's going to have to be the Markstrom we saw take the Utica Comets to the Calder Cup, a few years ago, where he was like, guys, get me another goal. We're winning this game.
Yep.
And then he would, so that's the Vancouver is going to need. And I think Vancouver is going to need that the entire way.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot. Even if they get past Minnesota, it's a tall hill for Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah. And what do we got here left? The Flames and Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, Flames and Jets. Yep. So, Yosh, are we on this one at all? Or?
I would really like to see the Jets get it, but I honestly think it's going to be Calgary.
Okay. What's that?
This is one of those series to me where both teams lose because these two teams are going to beat the hell out of each other in 5 games. That whoever wins is losing the next round.
Oh yeah,
because they're going to be done. There's no way. These two teams are elite caliber teams. Everybody's healthy. We're going to keep saying that. Everybody's healthy pretty much.
Yeah.
And so these teams become like little all-star games, really.
Yep.
Because everybody's going to be there. And on top of that, we didn't even talk about, we were leading into the playoffs. So all these teams, filled the coffers with backup players and veterans and guys on one-year contracts. I mean, we didn't get to Carolina yet, but they got Shea and they got a bunch of defenders. And then if they get Dougie Hamilton back, they're going to have a giant stable of defensemen. So the other teams have done this too. And I just think that Winnipeg and Calgary, I think it's going to be Calgary. I think Calgary's got a lot of talent. I think Talbot can keep them in there long enough. Or they got who else? They got
David Rittich.
He was playing really good too.
Really well too. Yeah.
If the goalies, I think that one's gonna come down to goalies.
Gotcha. Now I'm trying to think. Did somebody from Calgary said they were sitting out for
Yes, Travis Hamonic.
Hamonic. That's exactly who it was.
Yep, he's out.
He opted out.
He opted out. So. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be Jets all day and all night. Here's the thing. I watch a lot of Western Conference hockey. And if you want to talk about your ultimate underachieving team, it's the Calgary Flames. It's like they're afraid of success. Okay? You got to look at the job that Paul Maurice did with the Winnipeg Jets this year. Okay, with the whole drama with Byfuglien and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Traded off Trouba. Everybody wrote him off. And you know what? They were solid all year long. And you know what Calgary doesn't have that Winnipeg does is a Vezina caliber goalie in Connor Hellebuyck. Connor Hellebuyck has been outstanding this year.
That's very true.
Outstanding. And to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, let's face it, Johnny Gaudreau totally underachieved this year. Now, granted, that can all change in a 5-game series. It could. But I just don't think that Calgary's got enough to run the horses with Winnipeg is what they got. And I'm telling you, Connor Hellebuyck is going to slam the door on him.
Wow. Scott's throwing it right out there.
Not afraid.
I think Calgary has a better structure than Winnipeg.
Nah.
I think that's what's going to push them forward.
Paul Maurice
is
a Coach of the Year candidate. Good. No way. Like I said, 5-game series, who knows what could happen.
Yeah.
But I feel very strongly about this one in particular. Wow. And I'm telling you, Winnipeg.
So
I've forgiven them.
It in your
hey,
book
listen.
You writing these down?
I forgave Winnipeg for letting me down against Vegas a few years ago.
It's funny that you still recall it. Like, they let me down. Those
Oh, yeah, and then Vegas went to the conference championship. Oh,
that was the conference championship.
They won the...
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Listen, so I'm looking at the clock. We got about 25 minutes, so we got to get the East in here. Normally, we would do like your breakaway trivia. I promise we will get back to that.
Oh, I suppose, Rich.
I know. But for this week, let's just push right on here, and let's tackle the East. Do you want to talk about Pittsburgh and Montreal? Do you want to?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do that.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Let's hear it. Bazad, I'm going to let you go first because I just know you got something.
I just feel like every year we see an upset, right? Mm-hmm. This is the one that's going to get upset. This is the one. Pittsburgh's going to get kicked out. They're going to steal that number 1 draft pick. I just know it.
See, that's where you're
I
going
just
with
know it.
Okay.
I just know that Pittsburgh's going to tank. Not on purpose, mind you, because Sidney would never do that. But they're just gonna. They're just gonna. I can see Price being like Price from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Lights out.
And Weber and everyone else just being like, all of a sudden, Domi's great. Everybody's going to step up.
Domi opted out.
He opted out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did. So, we'll see. We'll see. Granted, I don't want to see Montreal win.
No.
Nobody ever wants to see Montreal win outside of anybody in Quebec.
Yeah.
But I just have this sneaky suspicion that, like, man, Montreal does, and out of all the teams that don't belong in this thing, Montreal is
there's no doubt. They
don't belong
yeah.
anywhere near this tournament.
Nope.
I mean, I would have rather seen the Sabres make it.
Yep.
But Montreal made it in, and they're going to push for it. They have to. They have to. I feel like Montreal wins regardless. Either they win and they go on to the next round to get crushed, or they you never even know, because the confidence they would get from beating Pittsburgh.
Yeah, really.
Who knows? So it's really, I really don't want. I want to say Pittsburgh's got it locked up, but I'm going to say Montreal steals this one.
I'm going to tell you why that's not going to happen. Okay. You're gonna win, and you're gonna crush them, and I'll tell you why. Because as much as everybody wants to see the whole, Pittsburgh got the number 1 pick, let's remember, this year, the next generational French-Canadian superstar is coming along.
Yep.
And if you think the NHL is going to let a chance to have the Montreal Canadiens get him go by the wayside
Exactly.
with the crappy team that they put into the playoffs, I don't think so.
If you want to talk conspiracy theories, there it is.
No. As much as I love a good upset, as much as anybody, this one's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, the only Achilles heel I could see for the Pittsburgh Penguins right now is Tristan Jarry, a playoff goaltender. And you're in a 5-game series, so I have this sneaking suspicion he's going to get the start.
Really?
I think so. Because really, if you think about it, they're not there without him. Matt Murray was kind of a hot mess this year.
He was bad.
He was.
And if they were going to depend on him, Pittsburgh's not the number 5.
He hurt too?
Murray's always hurt. He's hurt off and on all the time.
But when he was playing, he wasn't that good.
No,
Let's be honest, he wasn't good.
Have you seen the trade rumors going on?
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Matt Murray going
one
to
of
Vegas for Fleury.
Get out of here.
Honest God, that's one of the trade rumors going on. So,
but hey, they'd have their first fan revolt in Vegas. Welcome to the league, little ones.
if I was Fleury, as a Pittsburgh fan, I'd be like, please don't send me back there, because nobody is ever happy with goaltending in Pittsburgh, ever, unless we win the cup. Then everybody's he's been our favorite since day one.
I don't even know then. I can recall back in '92 being like, we won even with Barrasso.
Barrasso. Yeah, they're usually they're not friends with any goaltender. So I wouldn't want to go back.
Barrasso was actually a decent goaltender, but those 91 and 92 Penguins teams could have won with that Cameron goal. I mean, that's
That's very true. Let's move on here. The Hurricanes and Rangers. I know somebody over there wants to talk a lot about this. Yosh, I'm going to give you your crack here.
There's what I want to happen and what's going to happen, and those two things are the same thing. I'm going to pick the Rangers to get this.
All right.
I just think that and I don't know, like Scott said, it is a different season, but look at how the Rangers are playing coming down the stretch there.
Yep.
I mean, they were in the last 17 games, they were 11-5-1. They were scoring almost 4 goals a game. I mean, if Mika can stay where he was at, I mean, and you got Panarin going for the Hart Trophy, I think I got to give it to the Rangers. They always seem to have Carolina's number. Always.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mazat. I know you.
First of all, Zibanejad was scoring at a 30% rate.
Yeah.
Before the break. It's
not
completely
it's unhuman. Yeah.
Like,
You know who Mika Zibanejad reminds me of? Wild Bill Karlsson from the Golden Knights. Which Mika Zibanejad is it? He's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. But is he a consistent 40-goal scorer?
well,
Because remember when Carlson broke out, they're like, oh, they got to that's the real Wild Bill. And what Wild Bill do the following season? Regressed.
yeah,
Scored
but
about half the amount of goals that he scored from the year
people weren't
ago.
saying.
And they found out that he's really not a true number one center. He's a good 2 center, but he's not a number 1.
I don't think it's the same because
That's why they went and got Paul Stastny.
last year was Zibanejad, could he do it year. And this year he proved, yes he can.
Yeah.
So
How can he sustain it, though?
But the shooting percentage cannot
no
be
way.
sustained.
No.
There's no
Not a
rhyme or
chance.
reason. I mean, for what he was doing.
No.
But the problem I have with this is the defense of the Carolina Hurricanes. They have really outstanding stellar defense. I guarantee you Brady Shea is going to bite us in the butt because that's what happens with guys we trade away. Brady Shea is going to have a hat trick in one of these games.
God.
I guarantee
Imagine if it was the game winner, too.
I'm telling you, Brady
you
Shea
jinxing him?
is going to crush us. He's telling them
something like that.
everything right now that they have to do to beat us. They're watching all the tape. They know. And granted, the Rangers beat Carolina, swept them this year. All of those games were very close.
Yes, they were.
If you go and look at the scores, they're deceiving because some of them had empty net goals and things like that. All those games were to the wire. So this one is really toss up. This one that I've been hearing around people talking about is the one everybody wants to watch because it's going to be just a
it's gonna
fire
be.
wagon race back and forth and back and forth. I have very little faith in the Rangers. I want to obviously see them go on.
Yeah.
And like Yosh said, if this was, March 30th and you were asking me and they were about to start, I'd be like, oh, we got this. Carolina, forget it.
Yeah.
But no, I can't. With everybody healthy in Carolina, I didn't even know Dougie Hamilton wasn't going to be there for this round.
Yeah.
So that's actually making me feel better about the Rangers, but.
I mean,
Man,
I think-
we'll check back on it because I think they said potentially not.
Yeah.
So
I think that the biggest thing that might hurt the Rangers in this is being overconfident going into it.
oh, okay.
I think that's the one thing that I think they really need to watch out for is trying to just brush it under the rug like, we got this.
Was cocky Rangers.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, about the Rangers is we saw this team progress during the season from
Yeah.
a team that was letting up way too many chances to a team that got much better structurally sound defensively. And if you've been listening to Coach Quinn talking about these practices they got coming up and what they've done and what they're going to do like today and tomorrow before the Islanders game, he's saying there's structural things we have to tighten up before we play. And if he's saying that now, that makes me very weary that, the Rangers come out, they have a bad game 1, bad game 2, and you're in it.
Oh,
That's it.
Like,
Don't
That's
forget
it.
something too. Brendan Lemieux got suspended for 2 games.
He's gone
yeah.
for
Now
2
he's
games,
not a superstar, but you know what? You need those kind
He's
of
a
grind
lot of
guys in the
grit.
playoffs.
Yeah.
he's a
You
lot of
need
grit
those
our
kind of
team.
guys. You really do.
Absolutely. And he
And
was playing really,
He was.
really well.
He's lucky he only got 2
Yeah.
games.
If it wasn't a
It
playoffs,
wasn't that bad.
if it wasn't a playoff scenario,
it was dirty, but I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's
he's
not like he cross-checked him or something.
He's a repeat offender as well, all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
if Carolina is going to win this series,
Dobbs definitely
It was
spun the
definitely a
wheel on that one.
Kyprios type of move. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. But
Scott, you got a prediction on this series?
if Carolina is going to win this series, there's only one way they're going to do it, and it's going to have to grind down this game into a roll of 4-line situation. Because honestly, Carolina has a deeper bottom 6
Yep.
than the Rangers do. So, if you're going to go top 6s, the Rangers are going to win this all day long. Because if you want to have that fire wagon hockey, I don't trust Pete Mrazek.
Yeah.
He had one good playoff run. and that was it. Otherwise, he's been pretty much mediocre through his entire career. Let's be honest. So you want to have him having to stop Artemi Panarin? He's your guy? No. Now,
See the confidence right there.
now, granted, again, like we've been talking all along, this is what makes this so interesting with a 5-game series. Let's say Panarin has a bad series.
Yeah.
Now what? Because you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, if there's an Achilles heel that the Rangers have, it's down the middle. They are not deep down the middle.
No.
They're not.
They're not deep anywhere, Scott.
Well, they're pretty good on the wing. And they're good on defense.
Yeah.
They got a lot on D. But the one Achilles heel that the Rangers have is that ability to roll 4 lines with 4 good centermen at all times.
No,
and the deeper you get into the playoffs, you need that.
Yeah.
Because fire wagon hockey might win you a playoff series in the beginning. It's not going to win you a cup.
No.
Ask the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, they were the fire wagon kings when they came in, and it eventually ground them down. But I still think that the Rangers win this series because I don't think Pete Mrazek can beat them. My question for you guys is, who's your playoff goalie?
Yeah, I don't know.
If I'm the Rangers, I'm going Shesterkin. I'm going Shesterkin.
Yeah, he's got to start.
If I was a coach, I start Lundqvist. Lundqvist won 3 of 4 games against Carolina this year. It's Lundqvist's team. Start over, you reboot.
But here's the thing.
Lundqvist should be better than he's ever been right now. He says he feels better than he's ever been. If he lets in a stinker, 2 goals, whatever, you yank him right away.
But here's the thing, though.
Shesterkin.
But here's the thing. Shesterkin's your goalie of the future.
Yep.
You're in a playoff situation. Why would you not want him getting that playoff experience? I mean, sorry, Henrik, you've been great for us.
Here's the thing.
But here's your $8 million. Okay,
there's also no reason.
The Rangers got an ace in their hand. They could go on and win this and try to maybe put in a deep playoff run, or they tank out of the first round and we got a chance at a first round pick, a second first round pick.
Yeah,
because they got that one coming from Carolina anyway.
Right. So
here's the other thing nobody's talking about. Rangers have a little playoff. You know, there's always that guy who like only shows up in the playoffs and you don't know his name the rest of the year. Rangers have one of those players, and he's in those bottom 6 you talked about. You're forgetting him.
He must be invisible then, because
he's one of Rich's former favorite players, Greg McKegg.
Greg McKegg. That's right.
I'm telling you, Peter Mrazek. Greg McKegg ain't scared of Peter Mrazek either. And
I don't think anybody's afraid of Peter Mrazek. He's like 5'5", 150 pounds. I don't think he's intimidating anybody out there, Rosati, okay?
I can see the fourth. See, I think just
is he like the little ninja out there or something?
I think this game is this will be won for the Rangers on their bottom guys and not on their top. I think the defense of Carolina is going to just be out there every time those Rangers top guys are out there. And those bottom guys, the Brett Howdens, the Greg McKeggs, the Phil DiGiuseppes, those are the guys that are going to have to pot some goals for the Rangers to beat this series.
Greg McKegg for the win. There you go, man.
Greg the Keg.
Greg the Keg.
Let's move on here. Who else we got here? The Isles and Panthers, right?
Isles Panthers.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are we talking on here?
So I'll take the lead with this one because I was the guy who was banging the Florida Panthers drum all season long. I had so much confidence in them. And for some reason, this season has just been the lost season for them. Maybe it just took them way longer than it should have to get Joel Quenneville's system down. Let's be honest. I'm a huge Sergei Bobrovsky fan. He just didn't have it this year. Nope. I think it was maybe too big of an adjustment for him.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest with you, too. Bobrovsky's used to playing in front of good defensive teams. Florida was anything but a good defensive team this year. However, they have the $1 million top 6 as opposed to the 10-cent defense. The Islanders, on the other hand, are I would say actually the best structured team in the league. There's nobody that can play that kind of system the way the Islanders do and get what they get out of it.
We had talked about that early in the season. The Islanders are good. Right down.
Exactly.
Right down the line.
And let's face it, their goaltending doesn't stink either. They got Varlamov. They got Tomas Greiss. All right? Sorokin signed with him, but he's not going to play in the playoffs. So, with that said, in a playoff setting, the smart money always goes to the system. always. Because what we talk about, to win in the playoffs, you got to roll 4 lines. You got to be sound defensively. And as much as I like the makeup of the Florida Panthers, they're missing an ingredient. And that ingredient is that grit, that defense, that grind it down that you need in the playoffs.
Yep.
And so, hey, that's great. Their top 6 can score 500 goals in the regular season, whatever. You get to the playoffs and you get into those grind down situations, you got to go with the system every single time. You know? Now, granted, I bet you there's going to be a game or two where Florida explodes.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. But in the end, it's the Islanders. I think it goes 5, but it's going to be the Islanders in 5.
What if Bobrovsky shows up on this?
There's the key right there.
Yeah.
Now, because there's the other side of it. With that system the Islanders have, they don't have scoring. And if Sergei Bobrovsky of old shows up, well, now
he could flip that whole series.
He could. He really could. But this is the one series that I'm really looking forward to. I want to watch this one. Mm-hmm. But like I said, as much as I like the Panthers, as much as I like Bobrovsky, I'm sticking with the system, and especially Barry Trotz is a Stanley Cup winning coach. He knows what it takes, and I just can't bet against the system.
Yeah. Guys, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go with the Isles.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's what we had talked about earlier in the season about the Islanders. There's not one guy that really stands out as like, this is the Islanders superstar, you know? They were getting everything. The whole team was contributing to the system. And I just think I'm going to go Isles.
They're sort of like
100%.
how the New England Patriots were.
Right.
Kind of like everybody do your job.
Everybody contributed.
Do your damn job.
As much as I hate to say that.
I know, we're not allowed to say that name. Patriots. Maybe now we can.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the Islanders, but I do not count out Florida. And like you said, I think Bobrovsky can easily steal this series.
Yeah.
He steals 2 games, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then Florida only has to get 1. So I really think that everything Scott said is on point about the season. But again, throw that out. They're all healthy. They got everybody they can want playing. And if Bobrovsky is good, I got to give it to Bobrovsky. I mean, the Islanders, like Yosh said, nobody specifically scary. Maybe Barzal.
Maybe,
but they do have somebody that I can't stand. He always scores.
Beverly?
Beliveau?
Yeah, Bolivier.
Bolivier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bolivier. That guy's a thorn. That guy's going to have a good playoff. I guarantee you. He is one of those sneaky guys on the ice that just has no quit in him.
Yeah.
Like you think he lost the puck 4 times and he still has it. And then gets a shot off. Like he's real sneaky. Yeah. But
You know who I like from now? I like Brock Nelson.
Yeah,
I
they got
just like
Casey
the guy.
Zizekas back too, man. They're going to be a
just
real
a hockey
tough
player.
team.
He's a hockey
It's going to be a tough
Josh
team.
Bailey too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's a big thing about these playoffs. People don't want to play the tough teams. People don't want to play the Islanders. People don't want to play Philly.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad not to see Philly. Not
Well, you see him
throwing-
today.
not this throwing one. But
Put Crosby in bubble wrap. Same thing for
off
Malkin.
the ice.
Can we
Malkin, Gunsel, all the rest of them.
And then we got one more, right?
Yeah, one more series. Yep, we got Toronto and Columbus. Now that one,
they both lose.
they both lose. Okay, we're back on that.
I think that one's similar to the Calgary-Winnipeg, the other one.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins this goes nowhere else. I think both of these teams are going to beat each other up. I really think it's going to be Columbus. I think Columbus, now, I've said year after year, the torch system doesn't work because you run these guys too hard during the season, they got nothing left for the playoffs. Well, that's not going to be the case
That's
now.
definitely not.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the case now. And the team that just swept the Tampa Bay Lightning next year, they're going to come in, they're going to sweep Toronto, and then they're going to go in the next round. Depending on how bad Toronto is, I can see Columbus taking this whole thing.
Well, they got Seth Jones back, too.
They got everybody.
Now, the only thing is, when Columbus did that last year against it, which, by the way, I was the one who predicted it, and you said I was an idiot for it, remember? just say it.
I don't know if I said you were an idiot.
We got
Just
tape.
say it. We'll have to review the tape. But anyways, Columbus last year had Sergei Bobrovsky. Now, granted, Eunice Corpusalo and the Elvis has left the building Brazilcans, all right? They've been very good, but they are very untested, too.
Yeah.
And now you're going against Toronto. You're going to be facing John Tavares, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Morgan Riley. Everybody's healthy again, except for
Nylander.
Andreas Johansson, and it's not that big of a loss. So that all alone right there, Torch system had better work. Because if they don't grind them down, this series is over quick.
They got all the healthy defensemen in Columbus.
Right.
They're going to knock all those guys you just mentioned right on their keister and go the other way. That's what's going to happen.
Well.
In Toronto has nothing on the other end to stop anybody. Like they're so forward driven.
They are.
That there's nobody to help Anderson out. We know Anderson's a good goalie, but he's only good on the first save. He's not so great on the third one.
Well, Jesus, what do you expect? He's got to make 60 saves a game.
What I'm saying.
You know,
that's
the
my
guy's
point
human.
Exactly.
What do you? But he's another one who's capable of stealing a series. He can do it.
A game, I could see. A series, he hasn't done, and I don't expect him to.
You know, just real quick, Gus chiming in again. He said, Zot wants to send a shout-out to Gritty.
Yes, yeah. I've been watching Gritty videos online.
Yeah?
Yeah, did you see the one where he thinks he's cake?
Oh, my
It's
God.
really
He
great.
thinks he's cake. I didn't
He
see
thinks
that one.
he's cake. Yeah, I won't ruin it for you.
I got to check that out.
YouTube it after. Gritty thinks he's cake. It's like the third one down on YouTube.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the video, he's like alone by a lake, and he's throwing a frisbee, and he runs over to the other side. He picks up the frisbee, and he throws it back to where he was because he's got nobody.
Wow.
It's so sad. So then he's going online, and he discovers he's cake.
Hey, we literally got about
3 minutes.
just a little over 3 minutes here. So I really wanted to jump back and discuss that first-round draft pick if we could. Did you say you like that system at all, or?
As far as the two-tier lottery system, or is
Well, I guess so. It's
because I thought it was a joke to let the playing teams have a shot.
Yeah, that's
That was weak.
that's what I mean.
And they were just trying to max that out as much as they possibly could.
Yeah.
That's which you got to remember too. When they came up with that system, they didn't know if they were having it in June. They were talking about, especially coming off the draft, the success of the NFL draft, the way they did it. Like, oh, we got to max this out as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it was completely unfair to teams that aren't going to play for 10 months. Now aren't even going to get a shot at a number one pick.
Here's the thing, Scott.
And you know what? Take a team like Detroit, who could really use that number one pick.
Absolutely good.
You know, as opposed to pretty much any other team in the league.
It could all of this could be like a dream, though. This will all go away if this doesn't complete. Remember, they can stop this tournament at any time for any reason. That's part of this whole thing. And they tried to play for a Stanley Cup during the Spanish flu, and it didn't end up getting awarded. You know why? Somebody died. Somebody died, and they said, that's enough. We're done. And so the Stanley Cup didn't get awarded that year. They only had a few games to go. Like so,
That was 100 years ago, though, too.
Yeah, but
You know,
I'm just saying they can do that.
They made just a couple medical advances since then. Minor ones, but just a couple.
It's written, it's written into everything that even if a team loses 4 of their defensemen, or like Scott said, goalies, you lose your 2 starting goalies. If the integrity of the team is affected, this whole thing is gone. In that case, it all gets reset.
Yeah,
in
but
the
you know what,
draft
though?
and the lottery, it all goes back.
You're going to have a massive breakout because they got these guys in the bubble now.
Yeah,
There's-
here's the problem. You got all those black ace guys that ain't going to play that are there. Those guys are the issue. Is like those
they're not
guys
allowed
going
to
to
leave,
stay
though.
in the...
yeah, they're not allowed to leave the bubble. They leave the bubble, they're out.
They're out.
Right.
Yeah. Done.
But who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. They get caught sneaking. I don't know.
Nah,
It should be
let me
interesting.
put it to you this way. They wouldn't have put this much into it if they were just going to say, oh, somebody got COVID, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done.
It
It's
should-
got to be
it's in
a
the rules.
Kind of
massive,
interesting
It's in the
because
rules.
massive outbreak.
like I was looking last night, and what was it? 12 players on the Marlins, right? In baseball, 12
Yeah.
players got diagnosed with COVID,
Right.
And so there was the big thing, like, oh, well, we might shut that down. It's going to be interesting. I think a lot of it's going to depend on that first round, what ends up happening with it. But
Well, and don't forget, too, as more teams get eliminated, and all those teams that are still there get to have their families come in.
Oh.
Not to the conference.
That's the
round.
conference finals, but still.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm looking at our clock. We're on 10 seconds, so we're going to say goodbye. Again, thank you to all the viewers, everything that decided to check back in. I know it's been a while since we were in here working out a few kinks. If the show kind of dragged in a couple spots, that's on me because I can't figure out systems. Thanks for Todd for helping me out with that today. Otherwise than that, what are we back Monday, right? Next Monday?
Yep.
Yeah, we all in it?
Monday it is.
Wow, we're back again. All right,
Hey,
so guys,
hey.
that's going to do it. Enjoy the games coming up. And for Scott, for Yoshi, and for Mr. Mazzotti, I'm Rich Masucci. We'll talk to you next time. See yas.
Later.